Are you a virgin?
Yes.
And how old are you?
I'm 21.
Why haven't you done the deed yet?
The key to a strong society is family. And so, in my view, choosing my future husband is like the most important decision I'll ever make. And I'm somebody that I know my heart, and I know that I fall really hard when I meet somebody. So I want to retain some level of objectivity when I'm selecting a future partner. And I know that if I had sex with them, I would be completely imprinted on them. And instead of being like, okay, is this person, do they have the qualities that I'm looking for in a husband, or am I just making it work?
Is there any reason why you're dressed so modestly instead of revealing like most women tend to do when they come out to Miami?
It's respectful to others and to my future partner, and to myself, to just cover myself up more. I know that I, take care of myself. I'm pretty athletic, but I don't need to have that on display.
Are you a virgin?
All praises, infinite honor, and glory be to Yahweh, Bahashim Yahushai, Bahashim Rakah Kodash. All praises be to our power, our God, Yahweh the Most High, and His only begotten Son, Hamashiach Yahushai. Also honors be to the elder apostles of Great Millstone and like-minded elders that teach this word truthfully and in sincerity on the four corners of the earth. Barakim La Habayath Madawadah. Blessings to the house of David, which are you brothers laboring day in and day out, giving all diligence to make your calling of election sure, helping seal the elect of the nation of Israel. For the return of our Lord Hamashiach Yahushai is at hand, and to the Akim Wa'agwath, which are the brothers and sisters that also listen and believe on the glorious gospel that's being preached unto you. I say shalom. This is the brother Sakalai back another day, all through the spirit. I'm going to bring this lesson. I don't want to Ratazah. It is, edifying, exhorting, and comforting, which is Philippians 4:7, the peace that surpasseth all understanding. Now, I played the video first that you saw because I'm jumping into a lesson going into the new trend, which is having unbuttoned pants. So you saw an example of a woman that was somewhat decent and modest, speaking about not being given over to whoredom and not being dressed, as the women typically are in this Western culture, because the new trend of unbuttoned pants we're going to read about is a part of that wine of Babylon, right? The push of feminism, do as thy wilt, right? Being independent. And the majority of our women, you Negro, Latino, and Native American women, you eat that up, right? You've taken that to a whole nother level, and you push forth a lot of these trends, right? They use you to actually push these trends forward. So you see this woman right here in the front with the unbuttoned pants, which is a new trend going on, right? Which we know in the scripture said there's nothing new under the sun. It says TikTok celebrities and designers are all loving the unbuttoned pants trend, right? It says it seems like no one wants to button their pants these days. So now we see clearly that's just wickedness. No way around it. It's just wickedness. It says the unbuttoned pants trend is back, and it seems plenty of designers, stars, and TikTok users, it says, want in this time around. The style trends of 2022 so far have included plenty of throwbacks from it says, skirt over pants trend to the return of cargo pants. Yet another trend that has recently resurfaced from the past few decades is the laid back unbuttoned pants look that's been seen everywhere from it girls to runways since the 90s, standing the test of time. Any talk of the 90s fashion and pop culture would be incomplete without a mention, it says, of the princess of R&B, Aaliyah, who was one of the first to rock the trend with a pair of baggy pants and a loosened belt, which was one of her many signature styles. Now, let's continue on. It goes on to say the easygoing vibes of the trend continue into the 2000s as low-rise waistlines took over the scene for a majority of that decade, but seemed to disappear after high-waisted everything became a standard for pants and swimsuits throughout the 2010s. Now, let's continue on. As everything old becomes new, once again, waistlines have begun to dip, and the recent return of Y2K trends in fashion has brought back the undone trend. We first saw the resurfacing of the trend back in 2018 when supermodel Kendall Jenner was seen rocking a pair of baggy white jeans with the button undone and rolled down, showing off the bikini bottom she was wearing underneath. which is a pure example of whoredom. That season, exposed hips were also seen all over the runways thanks to brands like Fenty, and who's behind Fenty? Rihanna. You see our people clearly in the midst of this. Tom Ford and beyond. Now, it goes on to speak more and more about these different pop stars, but here's more. You see this is being pushed also to these effeminate modes. So it's not just for women. You see men are doing it as well, right? Which is just pure wickedness. Once again, this is the wine of Babylon. And this is what you see in more and more. Women with the pants rolled down, right? Which is getting closer toward their private, their crotch area, or walking around pretty much with bras on. I saw that in Miami and in New Orleans, visiting these places, more recently. That women are walking around with just bras on in public places, not just on the beach, so-called, but just wherever. That's becoming a new normal. This right here, this is what you're seeing, more and more of this here. This is becoming more and more of the norm. Women walking around with pretty much bras on and pants undone. And we get to the point that, we need Yahweh Shemir Shah to come, because we're vexed knowing that if this continued on, we would be, we wouldn't make it out of here, right? We wouldn't make it out of here. Now I want to show something here. Here's something in the midst of all this going on, right? All this going on in the world. This is what our people are into. Now, this is the article, and there's been more and more talk about this over the last few years. This is a requirement for women to register for the draft back on the table in annual defense bill. Now, what are these women going to do when this draft come with all this war going on in the Middle East and in Eastern Europe, and maybe even in going into further into Asia, going into Taiwan and China. So world war is brewing, and this is what, people in the Western world and people in the world are doing. This is what they're following, right? Once again, the wine of Babylon. So now, the issue is when this is brought out, there's an issue with those who's bringing the truth out, because majority of people, these Christians, these, Catholics, people in the society, they don't speak out against this stuff. They don't stand staunchly against wickedness. The believers are the only ones of Yahweh Shemir Rashai, the elect, the hopeful elect that's returning, are the only ones that's truly standing up for righteousness. Let's show that. Amos 5 and verse 10. They hate him that rebuketh in the gate, and they abhor him that speaketh uprightly. Let's read that again. Amos 5 and 10. They hate him that rebuketh in the gate. And who's rebuking in the gate? The men of the Lord are out on the highways and hedges, rebuking what? The wickedness, rebuking those that are in this culture, our people that refuse to return to the law, statutes, and commandments, and to the wicked, to the man of sin, Esau, Edom, the so-called white man. He's being rebuked. And who is he being rebuked by? The prophets of the Lord, the prophets of Yahweh. Why Yahweh Shai? Quick precept that comes to mind. This is going into they hate him that rebuketh in the gate, which will be the men of the Lord. This is 2nd Ezra 12 and should be around 31. 2nd Ezra 12 and verse 31. And the lion, which is symbolic of the nation of Israel, whom thou sawest rising up out of the wood and roaring and speaking to the eagle, which is a symbol for Esau, Edom, right? And rebuking her for her unrighteousness with all the words which thou hast heard. This is the anointed. The anointed ones are doing this here in the last days, which the highest, the most high, have kept from them and for their wickedness unto the end. So the elect have been preserved in the last days to come and actually fulfill this prophecy, which is going on now. He shall reprove them and shall upbraid them with their cruelty. So they hate him that rebuketh in the gate, once again, which is going into squarely and clearly, this would be the men of the Lord. These pork chop eating pastors, these people in society, they're not actually, they're not actually rebuking anyone, right? They're not actually rebuking anyone. They're telling you to live how you want to live and do what you want to do. Matter of fact, let me go back here. Let me just go here. So now, since I was here in the Apocrypha, let's just go over here to the book and get a few before we close it out. The book of Sirach, or Sirach, also pronounced as Ecclesiasticus. Sirach 26 And we'll start at verse 8. It says, a drunken woman and a gatherer abroad. A lot of these women are drunken, literally and figuratively, drunken with the philosophies of the world, and literally are drunken out here. When you go into the cities, at night, even throughout the day, you'll see a lot of, drunken women. And once again, this is twofold, speaking of women being given over to the ways of the world. A drunken woman and a gatherer abroad. A woman that's a gatherer abroad is a woman that's what? She don't have, she's not governed by anything. She live however she want to live. Like I remember growing up in the 90s, and you had girls going wild, right? Esau was pushing that real heavy. The spring break chicks going crazy, right? Getting shit-faced, getting drunk, just going crazy. That spirit was being pushed. I remember being young, growing up in the 90s. I was born in the 80s, but, it's that saying in the world, born in the 80s, but the 90s raised me. So I remember that time, very vividly. Girls going wild. That's the spirit that's went to another level, because it's just whoredom and all that being pushed and accept, just like the Mo culture, just like being effeminate and being a part of the nasty, wicked people alphabet community, right? It says a drunken woman and a gatherer abroad causeth great anger, and she would not cover her own shame. See, there's no shame, right? There's no shame. There's no shame here. As we saw that video going into the women, but I don't know where the one was at, but it's all good. We remember I started off the lesson with that, but there's no shame. See the women with the unbuttoned pants. The whoredom of a woman may be known in her haughty looks and eyelids. So you can look at a woman, you could tell by her countenance, her appearance, that the women that are haughty, that are given over to, that are given over to whoredom, which would be the majority of women in our society today, right? Matter of fact, verse 10, if thy daughter be shameless, a lot of our daughters, the daughters of Zion, are shameless. It says, keep her in straitly, lest she abuse herself through overmuch liberty. The scriptures also tell you that there would be no sodomites of the children of Israel, and no whores of the daughters of Israel. If thy daughter be shameless, keep her in straitly, lest she abuse herself through overmuch liberty. So that's what being a gatherer abroad, that overmuch liberty has led to the women just doing whatever they want to do. Now, let's show that. It says your daughter be shameless. So the definition of shameless, of a person or their conduct characterized by or showing a lack of shame. Hypocrisy, it says. So here goes some synonyms. To be flagrant, to be blatant, barefaced, overt, brazen, brash. Here goes another one, outrageous. So it's outrageous what we're seeing, right? Undisguised, it says unabashed. Let's see what unabashed is. Not embarrassed. It's not having any decency. These women are not embarrassed, unabashed, right? Disconcerted or ashamed. There's no shame on them, right? That's why, once again, this is outrageous what we're speaking about. There's places in the world still where women will get put to death for being like this. But this is promoted here in Babylon and throughout the earth as this is okay. Once again, unashamed, you see here. Unembarrassed, right? So these are just some of the synonyms. Immodest. And here goes another one, wanton. The scriptures speak about that. Matter of fact, I'll get that next. Sexually unrestrained or having many casual sexual relationships. And that's clearly what's going on, right? That's the norm. Because as we saw that woman in the beginning of the video that spoke about, and she was 21, which is something that is almost, it's almost something that is not even realistic in this society anymore. But she was 21 and she hadn't, been with the man, right? Because by the time a woman decides to so-called get married, societal marriage anyway, because when she laid down with a man, that wasn't a woman and became married. But anyway, by the time a woman in this society would go and get so-called married, they would have already been with at least, and I'm just lowballing it. I'm lowballing it. They would have been with at least 10 to 15 men, at least, right? That's actually, taking it, being very generous, right? Because it's probably on average more than that, But just that in itself shows you the society that we live in. These women are shameless. Now, let's go back and get a little bit more here in the book of Sirach or Sirach. This is Sirach or Sirach 26. And let's go down to verse 22. It says, "And the harlot shall be accounted as spittle, but a married woman is a tower against death to her husband." That's right. So a righteous woman is going to be what? She's going to be with her man, and she's going to be modest, and she's going to return to truth, to righteousness. Let's go down, verse 25. "A shameless woman shall be counted as a dog." So it says she will be counted as spittle, a woman that's not, shamefaced. Now it says a shameless woman shall be counted as a dog. And we know what a female dog is, but she that is shamefaced will fear Ha'adawan. So the women that are shamefaced are going to actually fear the Lord. Verse 26, "A woman that honoreth her husband shall be judged wise of all." So these are going to be the women that's going to return, that have been partakers in this society, in this culture. But now they're going to return and actually have faith and believe and come back to order. That's what the Most High is requiring for our women. "A woman that honoreth her husband shall be judged wise of all, but she that dishonoreth him in her pride," and a lot of these women are proud, "shall be counted ungodly of all." See, it says she shall be counted ungodly of all. Now, why is that important? Let me go here and let's get this. So it says she's going to be counted ungodly of all. Right? Now, why is that important? Let's show this in the book of Isaiah. No, let me go to Ezekiel real quick. We'll get a few more, close it out. Ezekiel, the 16th chapter. And I'll start at the 35th verse. Ezekiel 16 and 35. This is making reference to Israel, right? Making reference to Israel. So how much more today in these last days? Ezekiel 16 and verse 35. "Wherefore, O harlot, hear the word of the Lord Yahweh. Thus saith the Lord Yahweh, because thy filthiness was poured out, and thy nakedness discovered through thy whoredoms with thy lovers, and with all the idols of thy abominations, and by the blood of thy children, which thou didst give unto them. Behold, therefore, I will gather all thy lovers, with whom thou hast taken pleasure, and all of them that thou hast loved, with all them that thou hast hated. I will even gather them round about against thee, and will discover thy nakedness unto them." It says, "that they may see all thy nakedness." So these whores are going to be exposed, just like Israel as a nation, right, is likened unto a whore, right? And our women, who now, let's get into the reason why. This comes to mind, Jeremiah 31. Why are these women so bold to be this way? What has emboldened them? Once again, feminism, Western culture, right? "Do as thou wilt." All these things is the wine of Babylon. Jeremiah 31 and 22. "How long wilt thou go about, O thy backsliding daughter? For Yahweh hath created a new thing in the earth. A woman shall compass a man." So what we're seeing, is that in the earth, the women have compassed the men. They have superseded the men, right? And there's no order to everything that goes on, because they have been emboldened by the society to live free and to do whatever they want to do. Now, let's show another one comes to mind. What is that? Let's see if I can get this. Right? This is why they've become emboldened. The devil, Esau, Edom, the man of sin, has given them license, to live wickedly. That's been accepted in the society. 1 Timothy 5 and 6. "But she that liveth in pleasure is dead while she liveth." So although we see this is going on, a lot of these women are about to be put to death, right? But you believe in women that have returned and will continue to return and endure to the end. The Lord is going to give you mercy. He's going to have mercy on you. 1 Timothy 5 and 6 again. "But she that liveth in pleasure is dead while she liveth." So for you sisters that hear this video, that should be really, it should say a lot that the Most High has brought you into the knowledge of this truth. And now what he's requiring is that you actually believe, and you actually, return to keeping the commandments and being in order. Because being in this world like these women, is only one thing that can come. It's death and destruction. Now, it was a word that was there that I saw that came up, and it was the word wonton, and that's found in Isaiah, the one of the definitions going into shameless was wonton, and that's here in Isaiah 3:16. As you see here on the screen, it says Judah's women is denounce a warning to Jerusalem. Moreover, the Lord Yahweh saith, because the daughters of Zion, which are who? You so-called Negro, Latino, and Native American women, you would make up the daughters of Zion, right? You are the daughters of Israel. It says, because the daughters of Zion are haughty, and haughty, wanton, that's all found right here. We're going to continue to read, and walk with stretched forth necks and wanton eyes, walking and mincing as they go, and making a tingling with their feet. Therefore the Lord Yahweh will smite with the scab the crown of the head of the daughters of Zion, and will discover, it says, and the Lord Yahweh will discover their secret parts. And it goes on to speak, which the crown of the head of a lot of you, especially you Judite women, you have problems with your hair. That's further proof. In that day, the Hadawan will take away the bravery of their tinkling ornaments. And that's why, Moab makes so much money. The Chinese make so much money off of you, and the East Indian women selling you their hair. That's further proof. So the Lord said, in that day, Hadawan will take away the bravery of their tingling ornaments, because all these things are what make women feel beautiful. It gives them power in the society. You can't tell them nothing. It makes them proud. It says, and their feet and their calls and their round tires like the moon, the chains and the bracelets and the mufflers and the bonnets and the ornaments of the leg and the headband. These are all things that women wear in society. And the tablets and the earrings and the rings and the nose jewels, the changeable suits of apparel, all the different clothes, right? The body suits, all the stuff we see, right? The yoga pants, all this stuff that we see. The real short skirts, this is a normal thing. So it goes on and say the Lord's going to take all these things away. Now, here it says, verse 26, I'm going to highlight this one. It says, and her gates shall lament and mourn, and she, being desolate, shall sit upon the ground. That's ultimately what's coming, right? It says she, being desolate, is going to sit on the ground. The scriptures also say she's going to be trodden down as the mire in the streets. See? So that's what's coming. Now, we're here in Isaiah 3. Let's stay in Isaiah and go over to 32 before we close it out. This is Isaiah 32 and verse 1. It says, behold, see, the title here is the glorious future, Israel's ultimate deliverance. So this is by way of deliverance. This is what's going to happen, and what deliverance is going to bring forth. This is what it's going to take to get delivered. So these are the things we're going to witness here very shortly. Isaiah 32:1, behold, a king shall reign in righteousness. Yahweh Shai, which is the law, statutes, and commandments, are going to actually be implemented on the earth. We ain't going to have none of this wickedness going on. And princes, the men of the Lord, shall rule in judgment. So your future rulers and judges are the men of the Lord. When you read in the book of Isaiah, the 13th chapter, right? It tells you that the Lord, Hadawan, is going to make a man more precious than fine gold. Isaiah 32:2, and a man shall be a hiding place from the wind and a covert from the tempest, as rivers of water in a dry place, as the shadow of a great rock in a weary land. That's how a man is going to be. Now, let's go down and let's pick back up here. Verse 8. Let me highlight this as well. It says, Isaiah 32:8, but the liberal devises liberal things, and by liberal things shall he stand. And when you go into those, let's see if I can get it. We got shameless here. Let's see if I can get the word liberal. See if I can get the word liberal. Right? It says the liberal devises liberal things, about liberal things shall he stand. Liberal, it goes into politics, theology, and education. Right? That pushes what? Liberalism here in American Western culture. It says willing to respect or accept behavior or opinions different from one's own, open to new ideas. People speak about you got to be open-minded, which really promotes what? Once again, breaking the commandments, not living according to the law, statutes, and commandments for you Israelites, relating to or denoting a political and social philosophy that promotes individual rights, civil liberties, democracy, and free enterprise, right? So it's being one with the culture. So let's go back because it spoke about those that are liberal. Isaiah 32:8, but the liberal deviseth liberal things, and by liberal things shall he stand. So our people, starting with our women, pretty much go with the society. Whatever the society promotes, they go along with it, because by nature, a woman is to be led, right? She's not a leader. Isaiah 32 and verse 9, rise up, ye women that are at ease, hear my voice, you careless daughters, give ear unto my speech. Many days and years shall ye be troubled, and we're in the time of Jacob's trouble, right? The heightened levels of Jacob's trouble is upon us as we see what's going on worldwide and what's coming to Babylon, America, right? There ain't going to be there's not going to be any work in Egypt, the Bible says, right? So the land of our oppression is about to be destroyed. These are part of the plagues that Yahweh Shem Shah said he's going to send upon this place in the last days. So what's going to happen to these women with these high profile jobs, allow all this education, this freedom in society, these women that have multiple businesses, live in 7 and 8 bedroom mansions, so on and so forth. Many days and years shall you be troubled, so trouble is coming to you. Ye careless women, because she that lives in pleasure is dead while she liveth. For the vintage shall fail, the gathering shall not come. So this is not going to turn back around. It's not going to just be for a period of time. You're going to go through a little hardship, a little turbulence, and then you just go right back to smooth sailing. That's not going to happen, right? And the Lord goes on to say he's going to strip these women and make them bare. So that was really the point I wanted to make, pretty much, all to the spirit of Yahweh Shem Shah. Let me get another one or two. Isaiah, the 3rd chapter. Let's go back there real quick. Isaiah 3, and let's go hit the point. Isaiah 3:12. As for my people, children are their oppressors, and women rule over them. We read earlier, Jeremiah 31:22, that, the Most High has created a new thing in the earth. The woman is going to compass the man, and we're clearly in that time. It says, as for my people, children are their oppressors, and women rule over them. O my people, they which lead thee cause thee to err and destroy the way of thy paths. So the so-called leaders of our people have misled them. Now in the NLT, it says childish leaders, speaking of Esau, Edom, the man of sin, oppress my people. And what makes him childish is that all the laws are slacked here. The Most High is not being upheld. Truth is not being upheld. Righteousness is not being upheld. Childish leaders oppress my people, and women rule over them. O my people, your leaders mislead you. They send you down the wrong path. These will be the so-called black leaders, right? So-called leaders of Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans. This will be your celebrities, your entertainers, so on and so forth. People in Hollywood, all of these people are the leaders of our people, right? They've led them down the path of wickedness, and ultimately it's going to be to their destruction. Let's get another one. Isaiah 9, and close it out. In verse 16, it says, for the leaders of this people, of who? The children of Israel, calls them to err, which is to be in a way of sin, to err, to be in the way of wickedness, to be intoxicated, right, with sin. And they that are led of them are destroyed. So those that continue to be led, by the way of Babylon are going to be destroyed. So with that, I pray this lesson was edifying, exhorting, comforting. I want to give all praises, infinite honor, and glory unto Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem Rakakwadash. Honors be to the elder apostles of Great Millstone and like-minded elders that teach his word truthfully and in sincerity. Barakim La, Habayaf, Madawada, blessed to the house of David, which are you brothers laboring day in and day out, giving all diligence to make your calling and election sure, helping seal the elect of the nation of Israel for the return of our Lord Hamashayak Yahweh Shai is at hand, and to the Akim Wa Akwath, which are the brothers and sisters that also listen and believe in the glorious gospel being preached. Unto you I say Shalom.